to your drama. Chase success with Global.Media.com and celebrate it with or without champagne.
All right, we are live on stage. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on where you are joining us from all over the world. I know that from those in the Philippines and the Asia continent, they are far ahead into the midnight. For some, it's 2 a.m., for some, it's 1 a.m. Why, for those of us in West Africa and some parts of Europe, it's 7 p.m., 8 p.m., or 6 p.m., respectively. And those in the US in the Eastern time zone it's 2 p.m. right now. In the Pacific time zone is 11 a.m. Wherever you are joining us from all over the world, we want to say a big welcome to you and welcome again to another powerful and an exciting edition of our Positivity Live event. As you know, it will show up here every Friday where we are all about spreading positivity to every corner of the earth, one person at a time. For us, every all of our conversation is built on the foundation of positivity. And we believe that positivity is beyond the word, is beyond the caption, it's a life that we live every day. And to live this life, it's not a one-off decision. It's a decision we continue to make every day in all aspects of our life. And we seek to reach out to more persons to hear about the message of positivity because we know that when you are positive, you are possible, and in positivity, there's endless possibilities for you. If you just join us, my name is Zion Inodieri, your Mr. Positive Energy. And it's always a privilege to be here with us, to engage on this conversation. And the beautiful thing is this, we have people from all over the world. Join us live from LinkedIn, Facebook, from YouTube, from Twitch, in different spaces. Now we are showing to different platforms. Why? Because we know that the more people we reach out to with our message, the more impact that we will make to transform life, and make people live the abundant life in positivity, whereby they are open up to possibility. So welcome again, everyone. If you're in the comment section, feel free, drop a comment, let us know that you are here with us because it's a conversation today. And yes, one thing that we do here is beyond just having a conversation, we shine the light on one another. So if you're in the comment section, you have something you are doing, you're an entrepreneur, you're into business, and you have value that you are giving, feel free, come up on stage and introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and we will bring you up. And that's the link. You want to join the backstage, you want to be part of the conversation, you want to sit right beside myself and my friend and King Jamie, feel free, click the link. We will bring you up so that you can be part of the conversation. It's a continuation of last week's topic. But before I go in, I know I'm not alone. I'm with my friend, my brother, someone who we have been on this stage together, spreading positivity, making impact, inspiring people, motivating people, and putting people in that place where they live their best life. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome King Jimmy. I call him the king, right? Because that's who he is.
Appreciate the welcome, Zion, as always. It's so good to be back. Like I said, I apologize I was not here, I believe, the last couple of weeks with working with clients and doing some other things. But it is great to be back talking about self-care routines today, right? For those who don't know me, my name is Jamie Edwards. I'm coming from the United States. I'm right in the Midwest. I'm in Illinois, right outside of Chicago. And what I do is I help people with their job search. So I have my own career coaching company called Jam Sessions with Jamie. I've been doing this now for over 3 years on my own, and I help people with different stages of their job search. I write resumes for people from scratch. I do interview coaching sessions one-on-one where I help people how to answer certain questions in the interview process, how to prepare for interviews, how to talk about salary and get paid what you're worth. I also do LinkedIn optimization too. I redo people's LinkedIn profiles so they can get more eyes on it. be more visible to recruiters and hiring managers, help them create posts so they can get noticed more and grow their follower counts, right? All these things are important to getting a new job opportunity, and everyone's at different stages of their career search, right? In their job search. So my job is to bring back that confidence in their job search and help them every step of the way so they can get hired faster. They can start making money again. We all know what, if we've all been out of a job before in our lives, which many of us I'm sure have before, we know how hard it is. We got bills to pay. We got mouths to feed, some of us, mortgages, all sorts of things, right? When you don't have a job, it's hard to pay for those things, So my job is to make it easier so people can get back in the workforce faster and do a job that they love, not just a job where they're just punching in and punching out and they hate what they do, right? It's all about finding something fulfilling, and that also, brings you positive, makes you positive too, right? Which is what the point of our calls are, right? Our audio calls that we do. So that's a little bit about me. If any of you on today's call are in their own job search and you want to talk to me and pick my brain, ask me some questions, or set up a free call with me just to talk about more what I do, I'm happy to help out. Love to help you out. The company's called Jam Sessions with Jamie, and make sure you add us on, me and Zion. Make sure you add us on LinkedIn, right? Make sure you follow each other. Everybody who's in here, if you see them posting in the chat, make sure we all follow one another, because that's how our group gets stronger. And that's how we continue to spread positivity, right? As Zion says, to every corners of the earth. We can only do that if everybody does that together, right? So that's a little bit about me. I know Eni will be joining us soon. I see our first comment came through here from Mwili Siun. It says, keep up the great work you're impacting. Thank you so much. Appreciate the positivity and the shout out right there. That's great. So yeah, if you are in the call here today, please let us know where you're coming from. I always like to read where everybody is joining in from, because we got people all across the world that come and tune into this call. And I was just thinking about how crazy it was that we started doing those audio only calls, right? Where people had to join the call and you saw those little faces pop up, and sometimes the audio kept going in and out and people were getting kicked off, and just crazy to think how things have evolved in terms of how we make our positive calls present now. Now we're doing video calls and you get to see all our faces and we get to see you come up on stage and share your thoughts. Please, this conversation does not happen without you guys in here. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, as Zion said, the link is right up there. We'd love to see you join and talk about what your self-care routine looks like and what are some small habits that you do, right, to make your day go the way you want to go. So that's a little bit about me. I'm going to pass it back over to Zion here, and I guess we'll get the conversation started. And if any joins us, then we'll have any introduce himself, and he'll just kind of jump right in the conversation. So Zion, back to you.
Yes, thank you so much, King Jimmy. Amazing how you took us back to memory lane when we started with an audio call. It's so true. In the audio room, you can't see our faces. All you can hear is our voices and our little picture in that small cycle. But to God be the glory, today we've evolved. It's been years of consistency, and by October 17th, it'll be 4 years of us hosting this event every Friday. So it's been quite a journey, just like yesterday, it's 4 years, and I'm like, wow, amazing. So thank you so much, King Jimmy, for the powerful shout out and introduction. And like I said, please drop in the comments. Let us know that you are here. And if you want to be part of the conversation, feel free. We will gladly welcome you, because your voice matters. And for us in this place, we are all one big family. And it's all about supporting each other and helping each other to grow better one day at a time. Like I said at the beginning of the conversation, the topic today, it's like a continuation of last week's topic, where we spoke about, you cannot give your best while neglecting yourself. And for us, that topic last week really brought so many things into limelight, encouraging us and reminding us the importance of self-care, of the importance of prioritizing self, the importance of, telling yourself that you matter, and don't feel guilty about it. Last we spoke about, a lot of people feel guilty about taking care of themselves, thinking, oh, if I take this pause from work to take care of myself, I'm lagging behind, I'm wasting time. By the end of the day, like Annie said, you don't you take care of yourself so that you don't spend the money you work in the hospital bills. So you have to look after yourself, take good care of yourself, pay attention to yourself, so that the money you think you are working will not be used to take care of your health in the hospital. So for me, last week was very profound. Today we said, you know what? If last we've already established the fact that self-care is important, but for us, one thing we've come to understand it, it's not just enough to know that self-care is important, but making self-care to be consistently part of our daily life. That's where the real transformation is. That's where the real change is. A lot of people, we know that self care is important. Oh, self care. I know about self care. I love self care. It's important to take care of yourself. But at the end of the day, it's beyond just knowing, it's beyond just the knowledge, it's the intentionality, it's the action you take every day to see that what you think is important is not part of your life. So that you don't no longer be a spectator of self care, but you become an active participant of self care. And that's why today we are talking about what are those self care routines, the small habits that create a better you. You know, most of the time when it comes to self care, it's not expensive. It's not expensive. Yes, you may not have the cash to go to a, a, a massage house where they can massage you and do all these things, but there are little steps, little things every day that you can do that can be able to transform your life and help you, you know, just become a better person, help you evolve, you know, help you smile more, help you to stay more positive. And like I said last week, if your mind is tired, your whole body is tired. And that's a fact. Because at the end of the day, when you're in a place where your mind is overwhelmed, it tells on everything you do. It tells on your speech, it tells on your actions, it tells on your emotions, it tells on your feelings, it tells on your planning. Everything you do, your decision making is being affected when your mind is not in the right place. So that's why we are not just saying self-care is important, but then we are going deeper to see if it's important, what are the daily things that we need to do? What are the daily actions we need to take? What are the daily decisions we need to make to enable us as entrepreneurs to embrace the power of self-care? Because I tell you, true productivity comes from how much you take care of yourself. True productivity comes from how much you have invested in yourself as a person. Because you cannot pour from an empty cup. When your cup is empty, you cannot pour from an empty cup. When you are dried up, there is no way you can bring more water. You know, I gave an analogy about the dry well, that when the well is fresh, when there's water in the well, everyone goes to the well to fetch water. But when the well is dry, nobody goes to a dried well. So at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, the more you want to give, you want to make impact, you want to, you know, inspire people, you want to motivate people, it's important you know that also paying attention to you, to yourself matters. You know, having vision boards are good, but in your vision board, are you part of it? It's Zion part of the vision board, is Jenny part of the vision board? Are you part of the vision board? Because at the end of the day, in the midst of everything that is on the vision board, one thing that is very, very important, it is you. Because you are the one that will achieve everything on the board. But when you neglect the you who will achieve that which you propose to achieve, there is no way you can achieve it. That's why it's very, very important. For me, if there's one way I intentionally practice self care every day, it's taking breaks. You know, taking breaks is something I've come to embrace. And I think I mentioned this last week. I'm this person who loves to go on a stretch. I just want to go to get things done. I don't like to procrastinate. I don't want to keep it up. I just want to do whatever it takes to do. I do it. But I found out that, you know, most of the time I sit for hours. But then I realized that because I'm sitting for hours, it affects my back. I begin to feel back pains, and you know, I begin to feel some discomfort in my side. So what do I do? You know, to be able to take care of myself more is when I walk at intervals, I take breaks. By taking breaks, I walk around, you know, I walk around, I take a stroll, you know, I stretch my body, I move my hands, I move my legs. You know, it from the moment I started doing that daily, I really improved. In fact, it enabled me to stay much more hours that I think I could stay before. Yes, I could go on a stretch for 6 hours without taking a break, but because I could take a break, 10 minutes break, 15 minutes break at interval, I could even do much more hours than just 6 hours. So for me, being able to rest, by rest, I mean walk around, take breaks. I know you have been working for a while now. The ability for you to say, you know what, let me walk around my office, around my office room. Let me walk around the building. Let me take a stroll down the street. Let me stand up a bit, stretch my body. For me, it might be little, like I said, it might be so little, but those little things for me makes a huge difference. Makes a huge difference in for me being more productive and being efficient in what I do. Then, secondly, what are the self-care routines I take? For me, I pay attention to what I eat. I pay attention to the kind of food I eat because it's very, very important. Because I work, and when you work to get cooked food, it's sometimes it looks like a journey for you. So you quickly get the junk and the little things you can put in your mouth just to eat to fill your stomach. By the end of the day, it's not healthy for the body. As much as it fills your stomach, it satisfies you at the moment, it's not helping your body physically. So for me, I try as much as possible every day to make I'm eating a cooked food, a cooked meal that has the vegetables and have all these things that makes a food rich in content. So I try to do that instead of busy, 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 and then settling for junk. I'm very intentional about no, junk is not the way forward. Eat well, then you can be able to do what you need to do. So for me, what I eat is important. Also, what I drink as well. When thinking about what I eat, for me, I've been able to cut the amount of sugar I take in. So when it comes to sugary, sweet things, I try to limit it as much as possible. Instead, I take much more water. So I take water, which is also very good for the body. A lot of people we dehydrate a lot. We don't take water. We just get busy and do it, but we don't drink water. For me, drinking water is non-negotiable. It's very, very important. And make sure I pay attention to drink water. For people that will eat instead of taking water, they will take juice. Oh, the juice is good. As much as the juice is good, it's tasty, but then it's not what you need at the moment. So when you eat, do well to drink water, which is very, very important. And so for me, another thing when it comes to what I eat is I've replaced taking sugar with taking honey. So I have honey I take. So instead of adding sugar to the tea or adding sugar to the coffee, what do I do? I add honey instead because honey for me it's natural and it has so much health benefit when it compares to sugar. So for me, I try as much as possible to add honey to my meal, to my um, um, coffee instead of taking sugar. Because at the end of the day, looking after this body is very, very important. Somebody said, the only body you have is this body. You can change your clothes, you can change your shoes, by the end of the day, you cannot change this body. This is the body that does the work. This is the body that does everything that you need to do. But at the end of the day, making sure that you pay attention to this body is very, very important. So pay attention to your body because for me, I just love it. I love it for the fact that this is like okay, this we call it. Some people say it's a casing, is the body you live in. But then being able to take care of this body, it's very, very important. And then what are the other self-care practice I do every day? For me, I'm a very positive person. Okay. And one thing I do when it comes to taking care of myself, because the mind is very, very important. The mind is an essential processing unit of anybody. So paying attention to the mind. What do I do? For me, I practice positive self-care every morning. Yes. When I do that, it has a way to rewire my mind. A lot of people are overwhelmed, a lot of people are feeling tired. It's not necessarily because they are physically doing a tough job, but because their mind is tired. So, what do I do to help my mind, to keep my mind active? I practice positive self-talk every day. And by doing this, it just allows me to rewire my mind. And with that, I also do prayers affirmation, looking into my Bible, saying, God's word back to God, praying to God. For me, it has a way, it rewires my mind that when things comes, when challenges happen, because my mind is wired to see the best in everything, my mind is wired to learn the lessons I need to learn from every situation. I'm not worried. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not fearful. I'm not tensed, but rather I approached it from a place of a positive mindset where gratitude is involved. So instead of worrying about things that happen, I'm grateful for the things that happen. Instead of worrying about the goals I've not been able to achieve, I'm grateful for the goals I've not been able to achieve. Because at the end of the day, it takes one who even have a goal, they will think about not achieving their goal. So for me, I do that. I practice positive self-talk and I pray. And lastly, one thing I've learned to do recently is checking in on Zion. It's very easy to check in on people. It's very easy to say, "Oh, Jimmy, how are you? How are you doing?" I say, "Let me check up on you to know how you are doing, to know how you are good." And it's very easy. But then, how often do you check on yourself? How often do you look after yourself? How often do you ask yourself to say, "How am I?" So for me, it's something and I didn't used to do before, but practicing that has really put me in a place of reality check. The question is, Zion, how are you feeling right now? And I cannot lie to myself. I will always be honest to myself. Like, how am I feeling right now? Am I tired? Of course. Am I overwhelmed by anything? You begin to think about these things because for us, it's easy to call your friend, your neighbor, your family, say, "How are you? How are you? How are you?" But then we forget ourselves. Asking myself every day, Zion, how are you? When I ask myself how I am, it puts me in a place where I know, okay, Zion, you need to rest. You need to drink water. You are thirsty, go drink water. You are hungry, go and eat. I remember last week Friday, I came in hungry and I was eating behind the scene as the event was going on. Because why? Food is life. Food is good for the body. I love food. So for me, it's very, very important that we pay attention to ourselves. I will remind us again, you matter. Yes, you under the sound of our voice, you listening to us, you watching the us live or watching the replay, you matter. You are important. Do not take it for granted. Do not say, "Don't worry, I will take care of myself later." Take care of yourself now. Because the ability for you to take care of yourself now will keep you in shape for the later. The ability for you to take care of yourself now will help you take care of other people. Yes, you want to take care of thousands of people, you want to inspire people, but are you inspiring yourself? What are those daily routines that you do that put you in that place where you can be able to take care of yourself so that you can take good care of people better? So I encourage you, self-care matter is non-negotiable. I know as an entrepreneur, you have 1,001 things to do. And there is no time. I was talking to someone within the week. I'm like, "Do you know today is Friday already?" I could remember when it was Monday yesterday, and it's already Friday. I could remember when August was August 1st, but now we're in August 21st. I'm like, "Wow, it's going so fast." Yes, we don't have enough time to do the 1,001 things we need to do, but at the end of the day, be intentional about creating time for you. Be intentional about making yourself a priority. Be intentional about placing yourself among to be part of the vision board because the ability for you to take care of you, it's proportional to how much you can do and how much you can achieve as an entrepreneur. So thank you so much, everybody, for listening. I can go on and on and on. I can see King Jamie is back and Annie is here with us on stage. Mr. Annie, happy Friday. Good evening. How are you, sir?
I'm doing
Hey,
great, my friend. I'm doing great. I was doing the self-care thing. I was resting, then I fell
mm.
asleep. I woke up like So here we are. Here we are. Life is good. Life is good. It was great to be here. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, it's part of the conversation we're having. Rest. Sometimes you just need to sleep. There are things that are, but sleeping is very important because I know Mr. Any right now is feeling more recharged because he slept. And because he slept, his mind is rested. He has a lot to share with us today. So we are waiting for that. But before we bring Mr. Any on, we're going to give the mic to King Jamie so he can share with us some of the self-care routine he does that has really helped him to become more effective and efficient and to create a better life. So King Jamie, the mic is yours.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And good to see you, Annie, as well. Yes, so let's talk about self-care. But first, I don't know if we shout out some comments here. Right. We got Dr. Dorothea here. Always, been here every week pretty much, says hello from Colorado. It's all about intentionality. Yes, I agree with that. We got Mr. LeBlanc, we know, AKA the Soulful Squirrel. It says, can we do a deep dive on self-care? Can you have care without purpose? It's a good conversation. We may talk about that later, right? That's great. I like that. We're kind of jumping into self-care here. And he also said the mind has more impact than the body. Having the right mental state is upstream from the physical. I like that. That's true. You got to kind of have both when you're taking care of yourself, right? With self-care, it's all about mental and physical. So good comment right there. And William says, am I not surprised he fell asleep? Well, some things just don't change sometimes, right? No, hey, Ennie's the kind of guy where there's 24 hours in a day, but Ennie's working 26, 27 hours a day. Okay. So like he makes those extra 3 hours. So he's entitled to take his naps when he needs to. All right. And fall asleep. He's got to recharge those batteries. So there you go. That's a funny comment right there. So yeah, let's talk about self-care, right? I mean, it's so important, when it comes to just you being able to do things you want to do every day and not get burned out. You have to take care of yourself, right? You got to put yourself first. You got to take care of yourself no matter what. You only have one life. You only have one body. It's what you do with it, right? So for me, self-care, it could be a lot of different things, right? It doesn't have to be going out and treating myself to buying things and stuff like that. Like, yeah, that's stuff that doesn't last long, right? That's like a quick thing. You buy yourself, you feel a little gratitude, like you bought something, but then that eventually wears off, right? So self-care comes from a lot of the ways that we take care of ourselves and how we feel up here and how we feel just our body, right? So for me, when I wake up in the morning, I keep it simple, right? I get my daughter ready for school. I will stretch. I'll do some stretches. I'll kind of wake myself up and do some things to just get my body moving, right? I have a good breakfast with my daughter. So we have a breakfast, we talk about, how school's going. She's now in first grade, right? So she's growing like crazy. And we talk about how her day is going to go. And we talk about some of the things that she's going to be focusing on at school, right? Some of the things that is going to make her feel good and that, how she's going to be with her friends and her teachers and what she wants to learn today, right? And that helps with mental self-care, right? Not just for me, but for her too. We talk about something we've been talking about a lot is filling your bucket, right? And filling your bucket means what are you doing during the day, whether it's your own self-care, whether it's caring for others, right? What are we doing to fill that bucket so it overflows with that positivity, right? And you're doing all these right things for yourself and you're filling those buckets. So I always talk about that. We go to school. So one of the ways that I do more self-care is I take a walk in the morning. Every morning I take a walk. I walk my daughter to school because the school's so close to our house. So we walk to school. We'll ride her bike. She'll take her scooter and I'll follow her. We'll talk on the way to school. And that's really good self-care for me because it just gets me outside, breathing in the air, right? Getting my body moving, walking to school with my daughter and making sure her mindset's where it needs to be at. So that's another way that I take care of myself and take care of her at the same time, right? I like to go for walks at night too, before it gets dark outside. I'm not usually jogging anymore like I was doing for a little bit, because I get tired so easily just because, I'm not a runner. I've kind of come to terms with that, but just walking and taking walks and just moving your body. Like our bodies are not just meant to sit around all day, right? We sit around at work all day. We do things. You got to move and we got to get up. And we got to move ourselves and keep that blood flow going, right? So that's another way that that I work on self-care. Another thing I do in the morning too, I write down things that I'm grateful for, right? Every so often I'll wake up and talk about the things in my life that I'm grateful for and what I feel good about and what I'm grateful for and what nothing is promised, right? Tomorrow's never promised. We need to enjoy the things we have and not take those things for granted, right? And when we can think about those things and we can jot down those things that we are grateful for, it goes a long way. It makes you think about, you can think about your day, that maybe things are not so good in your life at certain times, and why is this happening to me, right? But I promise you, there's people out there that probably have it worse than you, and they still find ways to be positive and practice their self-care. And I don't take those things for granted, the things that I do have in my life, and I always remember those things, and that just makes me feel good mentally, knowing that I have those little things in my life, right? And small habits, and those little things that I do, it keeps my day going, right? It keeps me going strong. It prepares myself mentally. It keeps my brain moving and thinking about things and how I'm going to do things. And it's all those little things that just keep my day going every single day. And Zion talked about, obviously, the time, right? We might think we have a lot of time, but in reality, time goes so fast. I mean, yeah, it is almost September already, right? You have 4 months left. We're already two-thirds of the way done with the year, And we're talking about, Ennie's got that book down there, Lessons We Learned from COVID-19, right? Think about how much time's passed now since COVID-19. It's crazy, right? Time just doesn't stop. There's always something going on. If it was COVID-19, now it's all these things going on with blueberries and eggs and lettuce and all this stuff, right? It's just something going. It's always things going on, So, Annie, maybe you need to make a book, Lessons We Learned from Eating Lettuce, Blueberries, and Eggs, okay, or something like that. So, yes, we practice self-care. It's important. We're laughing. We're enjoying this call. We're talking about positivity. Even laughing is a great way to practice self-care, right? Not taking everything so seriously all the time. So that's a little bit about how I practice. And I see we got some more comments in here. So I'm going to pass it over to Ennie. So this man needs no introduction, but he's going to introduce himself anyways. Ennie, tell us about yourself and then share what you're doing for your self-care routine.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much, Jamie. Bill, look, sometimes your body just knows that you have to rest, right? And what can I say, right? I was here, right? I was right here, ready to go. Anyway, I never begrudge a good nap. It's good for my soul, right? Yeah. Right. Look, Jamie, I think you covered much of the important things. That for me, many things you talked about apply to me as well. For those who don't know me, for those who do know me, I'm Ennie Osung. My company is Global.Media. And what we do is make people famous. We'll make you famous different ways. Primarily by working with authors to write a book, publish their book, sell their book, and become Amazon #1 bestsellers, guaranteed. If that can help you, let's talk. Let's talk about today's topic. Professor Roxana, welcome, one of our co-authors in the book you see behind me. Thank you for joining us, Prof. She has got 9 other books. So do connect with her, especially if you're interested in building wealth for you and your family. I should start there. I think for me, every day starts with my routine, my daily routine. Zion and Jamie mentioned it. So my day will start with writing down what I'm grateful for. Restating my goals. Basically thanking God for the day that I'm gonna have. That's actually, I learned a while ago that you can either design your day or let your day get designed by other people. Long and short of it. Now, if life does you, or you can design your life. So I write how my day is gonna go. The good things I'm gonna do that day, and then I meditate, which gives me peace of mind. It's slow. It lets me slow down. And just focus on clearing my mind, ready for what's to come. So that's how every day starts. And then the next really important thing to me is having a system for how I'm going to do my work. Again, when I say system, it sounds complicated. It's not complicated at all. It just means I set myself what do you call it, a to-do list, a diary. But literally, I know what I'm going to do with my day. I know what I'm going to do in the first hour, which is my meditation, my gratitude. And the second hour, I know what I'm going to do, which is work on my business. See, this is important to me because many of us, we get thrown by life. We get thrown by chaos around us. Whereas if you know how you're going to achieve your goals, as someone mentioned in the comments, I think it was Mike that mentioned it. So when you can design your day to get what you want done, then you're more at peace. See, it's my way of telling my brain, calm down. Here's what we're gonna do today. Here's how we're gonna do it. Rather than my brain thinking, we're gonna do what's next? What's next? What's next? What do we have to do today? So that's energy. That's too much energy for my life, right? And so without having a structure to my day, I get thrown everywhere, and then you end up you end the day not doing what you want to do. So like I said, after I've done my meditation and my first hour of my business, I will work on client one's work in the third hour, and then client two. See, after that, I can relax. I can do as I wish. Jamie, you say I work all day. I work at night, so everything's geared towards any time. Just any time. It's my time. I design my days. I think that is so important for my self-care, because it's easy to get waylaid by other people's problems. I try and avoid that. Design your day for you to achieve what you want to achieve. That way, you don't end up feeling behind every day. Look, as the day goes on, my friends, I think there's a simple thing I've learned over the years, which is drink water. I got a fridge full of water. I bought a fridge just to have water, cold water. I love cold water. It sounds simple, but and I can hear many people thinking, oh, they say, everyone says this. They do. There's a reason for it, right? Hydrate is important. I'm sure we've all done drinking sugary drinks thing, right? I don't drink sugary drinks at best of times. I drink water. As we get older, either you want to carry on getting bigger and more unhealthy, or you're going to have to drink healthy drinks, right? For me, it's water. And I indulge myself all day. I can spending time with family is so important. I've watched many people, we've all watched many people become successful and then their life fall apart. All of us here do what we do for our family, right? We work hard to help to build wealth for our family, to be successful for our family. So it'd be a bit remiss of us to ignore our family on the journey, right? I've got 3 kids. My first 2 kids grew up before I knew it, because I was young. I didn't, I was working. I just didn't realize that time goes so quick. So I spent time with my youngest kid every day. Straight after the show, I'm going to go and collect him from his activity. And I'm happily spend an hour and a half with him every day. Sometimes most of the time we're exercising, but literally we're just spending time together. That it gives me joy, and it means I'm not working all day and all night. So I think it sounds simple, and many of us say, "We haven't got time." Make time. Make time. A few minutes. With the people you love, it's never going to harm you. So as my day goes on, what else do I do? Look, I make sure I laugh once a day at least. It's just it brings joy to your soul. Laughter is what life's all about, right? Genuinely, laugh. Whether you find something funny on TV, something you listen to, something you read, even talking to someone, a friend, a relative. I'm saying, find something that's going to make you really laugh at least once a day. Brighten your day. Of course, I think doing doing what you enjoy, my friends. Make time for the things you enjoy. I'm not saying, the days of me exercising for hours playing football. No, it's not going to happen anymore. It used to happen. Now, I never thought I would ever stop playing football, Mr. Z. I thought I'd play football forever. But now, no, I'm over 50. I'm tired. I can't do that. But 10 minutes of exercise makes such a huge difference to your day. I think, find what you like doing. I like lifting weights apparently, so that's what I do. Is it going to transform my body? Maybe, but it's good for me and better for me to do something than nothing, right? So so do something that works for you. Find out what that thing is. Now, if it's watching TV, then so be it. I'm saying, but literally, find your thing and do your thing. Yeah, if I can make a difference to someone's day, I will. And say again, that's just been maybe that's living your purpose again, as Mike said earlier. What's your gift to the world? We've all got gifts, and we've all got goals. We've all got we want something. We want a lifestyle. And that lifestyle is not going to come by any sleeping all day, every day. It's not going to happen. That's no. Like I say, look, you got two options. Either you're going to make excuses or you're going to make progress. Which one is it? I choose to make progress. That way, I'm not anxious. That way, I'm not worrying. I'm not disappointed. I'm not disappointed in myself. If anything, I'm proud. I'm proud every day, and I literally celebrate myself every single day. Well done, Annie. You've done well. Especially when I complete a project, I'm extremely. I'll literally walk away and celebrate. And I think we'll need to do that, because if we don't do it, no one's going to do it for us, right? Celebrate yourself. Bring joy to you. When you put the effort in and you achieve something, achieve the goal, complete a piece of work, had a great day. Tell yourself, yeah, well done, you, right? Look, I'll probably end with a couple more. Now, the one thing I'll say is, I love my food. I love good food, especially Nigerian food, Mr. Z. I love good food. This morning, I was so looking forward to my tasty meal that I had prepared. Right, today it was ribs and potatoes. Right, and it looked so good, Mr. Z. It looked so good. I cooked the ribs for 3 hours. But when I went to eat it, it wasn't very ready. I'm saying, I was so disappointed. I was heartbroken, literally, right? The ribs are back in the oven as we speak, because they're gonna be cooked. I'm gonna enjoy them as I deserve to enjoy them, right? You know, eat what you enjoy. Eat something that truly brings you joy and happiness in your soul. Maybe I'll say, there's something a friend of mine said to me. Said to me, a few years ago. Kelly Gilbert said this, right? He said, we've got two lives. And then you realize you've only got one life. And that's when we start living our lives, right? Because everything we say we'll do it later. I'll do it later. No, don't do it now. Don't do it later. Now is the time. Because later might not even be there. You might not be here later, right? Genuinely, realize you've only got one life, and everything you want to do has to be done now. That's the way I tend to live. I'll say, look, let go of the stress and worry that comes every day. There's no lion behind you that's going to eat you. I promise you. There's no tiger chasing you down the road, right? No one can do anything to you. That's going to, that is that massive, right? I haven't got time to live in fear. Yes, I haven't finished a piece of work. No, well, I'll do it tomorrow, right? Yeah, okay. I haven't had a meeting I was meant to have. Oh well, maybe it wasn't meant to be. Really, I'm saying, fear and anxiety eats our soul, Mrs. E. It eats at our heart. It shortens our lives. It takes away our joy. You control your life. Choose to live it in happiness and joy, your way. As long as you're not hurting other people, I've got nothing against that. Now, do your thing. Whatever that means. Design your day the way you want it. Do what brings you joy. Eat what gives you happiness and sustenance. And live your best life. Don't wait till forever. Now's the time. Start doing it now. Mrs. E, I'll leave it there, my friend. I give you the mic back.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Annie. That was a whole lot to share in there, and I tell you, I could resonate with a whole lot of things you said. For me, it's a very profound, and I love the fact when you said, "Do what makes you happy," and do something that makes you smile every day. For me, smiling has been part of my daily routine as well. So I intentionally smile, and which just makes me my response to situation is more calmer, more relaxed, more positive, solution oriented because I've learned to smile. It's hard for you to see me frowning, grumpy. It's difficult. Why? Because I know that when I smile more, it allows me to be able to inspire more people. So I decide to smile every day. Now, smile doesn't mean when things are all rosy, when all things are well. It's a decision we make. It's a decision we make. So I really, really, really enjoy that. And also, I think somebody mentioned in the comment, I think it's Uncle Mike, he said, and the people we surround ourselves with are very, very important. One of the routine for me for self-care is I'm very careful about the people I surround myself with. For me, one thing I said before, the criteria I always look out for is this person a positive person? I'm not saying they are perfect. I'm not saying they don't make mistakes. I'm not saying, oh, they no. But in the midst of all this, are they a positive person? So for me, it's something I look out for. And when I see that if somebody is not positive, is always negative, doesn't see the good, I try to stay clear from that kind of a person. Why? Because being in that environment can be so overwhelming. Being in an environment like that can be so stressful. Being in an environment like that can just make you, you know, just see things differently. So for me, being very intentional about the kind of people I surround myself with, it's part of those routine I make every day to help put myself and take good care of myself because self-care is important. And the people that contribute to you taking care of yourself are the people around you. What they say, what they talk about, what the point of discussion, all these things can affect us. Imagine being with somebody and the only thing they talk about is the negative news going around. Oh, there's death here. Oh, there is sickness here. Oh, there is famine here. So it's so overwhelming when you soak yourself in that kind of environment. So for me, what do? I watch out for people. Yes, because I always say this: as much as there are negative news out there are still positive news out there. Why not look out for those news that is celebrating people's milestone, celebrating an achievement, or maybe celebrating a wedding anniversary, celebrating their marriage, just like that. Because these are things that really, really affect us in way that we might not think it does affect us. Because what people talk about or discuss around us, has a direct impact, has a direct effect on us. So paying attention to the people in our life for me, it's very, very important because at the end of the day, your association determines your destination. And Mr. Eddie, you said something about food. Oh my God. You know, I can literally remember when you said you prepare your food and it's looking so yummy and delicious. And for you, you might let me download and finish this food. So I've been there because I'm practicing that always. I pay key attention to my food before I'm like, what am I cooking? How am I cooking this meal? I'm already anticipating the end product of what I'm doing. Why? Because I know that investing my time in preparing a good meal is a direct investment in me, in myself. Because when I eat well, my body is being nourished, my body function better. I can do what I need to do better. Why? Because I am eating well, paying attention to what I eat. So it's very profound. And I love the fact that, this conversation is coming from different angle. And, because we all need to be exposed to this. For some persons, they might not even see food as a routine to self-care. They might not even see laughing as a routine to self-care. They might not even see the association as a routine to self-care. But these are very, very important. Like Annie said, spending time with family, spend time with your son 1.5 hours. For you, it can be your spouse, it can be your daughter, it can be your anybody around you that is close to you. Spending time with family are part of those self-care routine. Because at the end of the day, for me, I always say family time is always the best time. Being able to smile, laugh together with your family has a direct impact on you. We can go on and on, but we have Uncle Mike with us on stage. Uncle Mike, thank you so much for being here with us. Happy Friday. I'll read the mic to you now.
Why, thank you, Zion, and lovely to see you as always, Annie.
Thank you.
Um, I've been contemplating uh, not just self care, but it's kind of deeper than self care, and that is really how we allow. And I wrote it in the comments on YouTube. How we allow the view of others to impact the view, our own self identity and self image, and that can be very debilitating, and it's often just wrong because um and I've been experiencing a fair amount of this on LinkedIn due to the whole music AI thing. And I just came to a place where I'm like, I can't allow what other people's, I mean, they have a right to their viewpoint. They have a right to, uh, you know, express it, but I'm not going to allow that anymore. To really, in a very negative way, influence, my feelings, my feelings about my art, my feelings about doing this stuff for others. Uh, so but then I started to think, well, why do I care? Now I think part of it is we don't want to be we want to have some EQ about. I don't want to go around hurting people's feelings on purpose. But if how I'm expressing myself, legitimately and authentically is is um is causing you anxiety or whatever, I don't necessarily own that. We own the our response to what other people are saying. Now, if I'm slagging you off, then of course, I own that, and I shouldn't do that. But I and so one of my other things, just because I've been reaching out actually face to face, is I have to adjust my expectations. It's unrealistic, for instance, Zion, for me to have, as a Christian, to have expectations of everyone else to act that way. Now, I think there should be what I call sort of universal mutual respect, and that doesn't necessarily happen. And that's where I was talking about. Once people show you that they are not aligned, or that that they're actually, and you said it a little different way, you want to surround yourself with positive people, because it's very hard, and you do an awesome job, so I'm assuming you don't have that many negative people around you, but it's very hard to stay positive if you have a lot of negative people, because yeah, I think studies show that in essence, the people you hang out with will have an impact on you, and if they're primarily negative, it will sort of drag you down. So those are some of the things I've really been working on. And then, to be honest, I'm just trying to figure out, purpose. So bigger picture. I think if we don't really understand what our purpose is, and I'm not even saying job wise, or how we make a living. I think, like, one of the things I figured out is, and I don't know if this will surprise you, is one of my purposes is as a protector. Now that can mean certain different things in different circumstances, but so I think once we start really understanding that, and then in some ways why we react the way we do, I think that we can start aligning. If we're aligning to, I'll say it this way: when we align with our purpose, I think we will be practicing self-care. That's what I got for you on a Friday. Have a wonderful, positive Friday.
So far, I think I could see any clapping as I was clapping too. You know, finding purpose. It's very important when it comes to self care. Having a sense of purpose, and I think it's also aligned with what Mr. Ellie said earlier that talks about enjoy what you do. So when you work in purpose, you enjoy what you do is a way to actually practice self care because purpose leads you to fulfillment. There are a lot of reasons why people are frustrated, people are tired, people are angry, is because they are not being fulfilled. And knowing fully well that fulfillment can only come from you working in purpose, you doing that thing you enjoy that makes you smile, that gives you that satisfaction. It's not negotiable when it comes to practicing, self care. So thank you so much, Okumai, because that's a very profound statement. For anyone out there, you need to start working in purpose. For you to actually, take good care of yourself, you know, enjoy what you do. What's your purpose? Find purpose. When you find purpose, it just give you, why am I even taking care of yourself? You are taking care of yourself because you have purpose. You are practicing self-care because you have a purpose to fulfill. You have a purpose you're working towards. So it's so powerful. So thank you so much, Uncle Mike. We really appreciate you for you being who you are. I love it, say, expressing yourself authentically. And it's true. When you do that, sometimes people feel uncomfortable. People might not like it, but you cannot control how they feel. Only what you can control is you, who you are, what you say, what you do. Yet it might make people feel uncomfortable. That's on them. It shouldn't stop us from being the amazing person that we are. So that was really amazing. Thank you super, super so much. So, Mr. Any, I don't know if you want to have anything to what Uncle Mike has to say.
So Mike, as always, genius, my friend. Great share, great share. Look, now, so many of us will look, we hear us say, don't spend time with people who bring you down, who don't give you joy. And you think, I have to spend time with them. You don't. We think it might get better. It won't. Right? This is a reality that we have to live. I'm over 50, so I've seen a lot of time on this earth, right? And if I really thought, spending time in places where you are endured, where they suffer you, they don't appreciate you. Get out of there. Just get out of there. It does you no good at all. So that's one thing I'll say. And Mike, your point about purpose, that is a big one. A lot of people live angry lives, upset lives because they don't feel like they haven't got something to give to the world. But no, we all have a gift for the world, right? And that's a purpose Mike's talking about. We have something that it gives us joy inherently when we do it. And the amazing thing about purpose, Mike, is that thing normally involves serving others. And nothing brings us greater joy than being helpful to others, than helping others, whether it is with our business, whether it is with our personal qualities, like you said, yours is protecting people, right? When we find that thing, we're almost, I think we're almost impermeable, literally. I'm thinking, to the days when I was pretty angry, frustrated. Every day you think, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know whether I'm doing the right thing, right? And the day you find that thing that you truly love doing, call it your gift to the world. Call it God's gift, the gift that God gave you. Now, when you can do that, everything else we're talking about today makes sense. So without that purpose, you're not going to do what you enjoy. You're not going to find what you enjoy doing. You're not going to find a way to serve people. You're not going to find a way to experience joy in your soul because you're going to spend time worrying about wasting another day. So finding your purpose is a Teflon effect that we all need. That's why you can say, say to yourself, well, if you don't like me, too bad. Because I'm just doing what God told me to do. Right? I'm doing what God gave me the gift to do, to bring to this world. That's such a big one, my friend. It's an amazing thing. So
Well, and any to me, it acts as an anchor. So when life has storms in it, but your purpose allowed so if you're focused like a lighthouse on your purpose, then you know where to go when the storms you will have storms in your life, and sometimes they're very drastic and hard. But if you have that lighthouse to look at and say, and Annie, I think the other thing I forgot to mention is just, I'm gonna not swear, but I'll use the small version of it. Just effing do it. Get out there, like with my music. I held back and held back, and then finally I said, "Nope, I'm gonna go do it," and I started to do it. Same thing with my poetry. I'm actually going to go out here face to face and actually start reading my poetry. But you have to you just have to sort of take your courage in your hands and just go do it. Because I think so many of us, and I think you touched on it. I think Zion touched on it, and maybe even Jamie. We can't live in fear. If we're living in fear, we're gonna shortchange ourselves, and we're not going to have that fulfillment of living out our purpose. And what you said about service is so important, because I can tell you every time I give, I get so much back in return. I don't give to get, but I just, that feeling of serving others is just incredible. That's all I got for you.
no,
Thank you so
thank
much.
thank you, thank you. Look, now again, we have two choices in life. Either we're going to make excuses and then have the internal dialogue of ourselves. I'm wasting my time. What am I not doing? Am I letting myself down? Oh, you're going to make progress. Take that first step. Make progress. That's the answer, as you just said, Uncle Mike. Right? Genuinely, choose to take action over excuses. Your life, your soul will be happier. You will be happier. That's the reality of life. I don't want to talk too much. For me, look, watching TV, if that's what you enjoy, my friend, you do you, right? Genuinely, you do you. Dancing to your playlist, I tell you, I can imagine how fun that is, right? Do you? Give yourself therapy every day. That's what I take from what you're saying for me, and be proud of yourself doing it. Of course, I see an amazing Dr. Dorothy has joined us as well. Welcome, Dr. Dorothea. Great to see you as always. I know you're going to blow us away with your insights. So please feel free, share with us. How do you practice doing Dr. Dorothea every day? Right, you're on mute. You're muted. Your microphone is muted. Excellent.
You would think in this day and age that wouldn't be the case, right?
We'll do it, right? We'll do it.
Thank you. Yes, yes. So thank you for inviting me to the stage. So how I maintain positivity, how I regain positivity when I'm knocked off track, is to just think about all the things that I'm thankful for, that I'm blessed to have. Friends, family, this community, for one, who some of you know has helped pull me through some pretty rough time since the beginning of this. I began almost in a state of crisis because of COVID, and almost dying during that process. But folks helped pray me through that and pull me out, as well as some pretty significant familial losses I've had since then. At some point along, and I don't know who in this room suggested it, but someone did. I try to practice doing a good stretch before getting out of bed, doing such a large stretch that I'm also stretching my face, stretching my whole body. So get ready to look, but this is part of it. So I stretch, usually stand up and stretch, stretch, stretch everything including my face, to stretch that smile as wide as I can. So, looks a bit crazy, but it gives me an incredible amount of energy when I do that. And this is something that I have practiced as well this summer in a session with kids that are in my sister's summer arts program. So we practiced that and seeing how it felt differently from when some of them were doing this instead of stretching outward, they were just bringing everything in, which feels really intense and negative. And so to help them kind of work through those and hopefully they were able to take this into their days as they went through training for vocal, music, acting, stage directing, working the technology and lights, etc., to help them just kind of be in a different headspace and figure out how to get in that headspace when they needed to, if they were getting off track. And working with this group, thinking about this group, looking for grants for this group, those actually help me to feel like I'm making progress in my life and I'm contributing to the world, even while I'm still, in this interesting space of trying to find my next opportunity as I am between contracts. So find your thing, find your why, find ways to be out in the community and contribute, because you'll also get a lot back from the community itself. So that is it for me. Again, thank you. And I'm hoping that one of my mentees will start joining this live as well.
That is amazing. Look, listen, they say God loves movement, your body loves movement. But it's a good thing to do. Yeah, when I do my stretch with Dr. Dorothea, I have pain because I choose to do it on a bar. And I stretch, and a different sort of pain in the body. And I can see the joy that's just moving your body. It brings us joy, right? It brings, and it gets blood flowing. It gets the chemicals working the way they should. But thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Of course, look, exercise is something that I don't think we've mentioned so far. Exercise is it's a good thing, and I mean your point, Dr. Dorothea. So it reminds me that it's not about going to the gym necessarily. It really isn't. Especially at our age, we don't like we don't need we don't need we don't. I'm not going to spend time in the gym hurting ourselves. Gyms for young people. I tell my son, off you go. You go do that. I'm not doing that. My time of doing that is gone, right? No, alas, we must find our own routine that gives us happiness. That makes us healthier and gives us happiness. Because our health is not guaranteed. We're not going to live forever, and our body, being in pain is something that it comes from doing nothing, not exercise, not treating our body with care, not doing the self care that we're talking about today, right? If you find time to do some exercise, you might say you haven't got, you haven't got time because you're working. Make time. Just do the stretches alone. Do a few minutes of that, and your body will thank you for it. Jamie talked about walking. I'm saying if that's what you do, clears your mind and gets gets your body moving, do that. So I'll do a few weights, literally 10, 15 minutes a day. That's enough for me. There's a time I used to do 3 hours of exercise, literally a day, every other day. I'm like, I just hurt. But I was much younger, and those days are long gone. I'm not doing that anymore. Find what gives you joy, and do that. That's what I say. Mrs. E, I give the mic to you, my friend.
Just hearing you talk is something I look forward to always. Why? Because you always share great gems, and I love the fact that the way you personalize the conversation and just set a practical example for all that. So it's beyond just talking, but then you're always practical and always using yourself as an example to inspire other persons. So thank you so much. One thing that you said, it's community, and it's as much as we are receiving from the community, also giving back to the community is also very, very important. And sometimes Giving back, you don't have to do too much. Just showing up for the community goes a long way, to give back. And it's like you said, thank you so much. You said you go with inviting one of your mentees to be joining us. That would be so amazing for us, because having more people to share their thoughts, to help us inspire people, to help us motivate people through our stories, through our life, it's what this call is all about. So that when people hear us talk, they will be inspired, because we know that people are going through so much. Yes. Even you, people are going through a lot. And most times they might not be able to come and tell you, oh, this is what I'm going through. But just being in there, in that corner, in that space, listening in, learning from people, being inspired by their stories, by their message, goes a long way to help others go through their tough times. And that's why for us, it's always an open space where we always invite people, come and share, because we believe that everyone has a unique story, and the ability for us to share that story, people hear it, they are inspired. That's where we make the true difference. So, Dr. Dorothea, thank you so much. We really appreciate you for being the amazing person that you are. Mr. Eni, it's been a powerful conversation. I believe that ending the show on this note, it's not bad at all. Why? Because we said so much about daily self-care routines. We practicalize it on how what we do. This is not what we read in the books, but this is what we do, and now we're able to apply it in our life. We believe that these routines can also help you when you begin to apply them in your daily life. It helps you to become a better person, a better entrepreneur, and helps you to stay more effective and efficient. If you're just joining us, you can go back, watch the replay. The replay is on all socials. It's on YouTube, it's on LinkedIn, it's on Facebook, and we are also live currently on Twitch right now, because the message is need to reach out to more people. So with that being said, next week is the last Saturday, last Friday of the month of August. And you know what we do? The last Friday is our gratitude experience, where we come in, share our gratitude, inspire more people, share our stories, and just to encourage others, because gratitude and positivity is like bread and butter. It's like five and six, they go hand in hand together. So that for me is something I always look forward to. And I believe that many persons will be inspired and will be impacted by the message of gratitude. So, Mr. Any, I'll just let you wrap us up today, and then we call it a end for the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone that's joined us. Thank you, everyone that's commented. Of course, if you're here, you haven't commented, I thank you anyway for being here, right? But no, do comment so we can welcome you. Whether you do that next time, that would be great. Look, of course, anyone on our YouTube, please like today's video, comment on today's video if you haven't commented already, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that already, right? The numbers do. The numbers matter because it helps us reach more people. It makes the algorithms show more people the content that people engage with, right? Look, it's this self-care habits. I think it's all about, on the one hand, getting out of your head, getting out of negativity, getting out of worry and anxiety in your head. Let's learn to. It doesn't serve us for anything at all. It gives us nothing. It might make you might think, I'm upset, I'm angry, I'm worried, and I just am. You're not. It's a choice you make. It's a choice you make, right? And I've never known that anxiety do people much good. Yes, it might make you a bit more focused. If you're afraid, but in reality, you can do the same thing you're going to do. With the same energy, with the same wisdom, same insights, and I say everything you've got without feeling the fear, without having to tell yourself, "Oh, I'm scared." You're not scared. Right? Say you're excited instead. Same thing, same feeling, right? I'm saying let's learn to genuinely just live with positivity. And that's what this comes down to. That part two, really. Live with positivity. Positivity doesn't mean thinking happy thoughts. Positivity, it means believing in yourself, loving yourself, looking after yourself, also serving, looking after the rest of the world, right? And living with joy. Living with joy in your soul. It's not always easy, but we can do it. no, don't wait till you're old to realize you can do it. Trust me, you can do it now. Right? If you struggle, talk to Mr. Z. He's a positivity coach amongst us, right? Genuinely, talk to him and find out, how can I reframe my thinking, my mind, when things are happening to me? Of course, connect with people who you've seen today, my friends. Have yourself, of course, and have yourself a good weekend as well. Kim, I don't want to ignore you. Say, we love you commented. I can welcome you properly. Thank you so much for joining us. If you've missed the show, then please watch the replay. I'm sure you've been here all the way through. Otherwise, but thank you very much for being here, everyone. We appreciate your time. We appreciate, all that you shared in the comments. And we appreciate you for just being you. So should you, right? Thank you, everyone. Look, so as Mrs. Z says, we're back here next Friday. Gratitude is important. It's important to say thank you to yourself, to your God, to the world, to the universe, right? Because when you say thank you, then the universe knows that you want more of that, of those good things that are happening to you. That's why we do gratitude. We want more good things to be grateful for. Gratitude, more things to be grateful for. Bear that in mind. Mrs. E, thank you so much for being yourself, my friend. Thank you for your genius for putting the show on, right? Look, we'll see you, my friends. Enjoy your weekend to the max, is what I always say. Let's do it again next weekend. Let's do it again next Friday. Let's do it again next week for the rest of the year. Take care, everyone. Take care, everyone. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend when the time comes. That's tomorrow, right? Take care, everyone.
Every step forward is a new beat to your drama. She's success with Global.Media.com. And celebrating with the without champagne or rum. She's success with Global.Media.